Hello, welcome to episode 31 of the Elevate Your Wellbeing podcast. It is the end of June, so we are going to go into a 90-day review. If you have never done one of these before, I would really recommend going back to the first episode we did. This will be the third 90-day review on this podcast. Let me have a little reflect through. So whilst I'm doing that, do make sure that you have a journal or a notebook, or if you're listening to this on your computer, so you're doing this alongside me on your computer, open up a blank Word document, whatever it is that you use. So if you've never done a 90-day review, first one was all the way back on episode 5. We did a 90-day review or a 90-day plan. So it's where you look back at the last 90 days and then you look forward to the next 90 days. So this is a good one to do at the end of the year in December, beginning of the year in January. And then every 3 months, every 90 days, you do this. So we do one in January, we then do one in April, and now we're doing our third one in July or at the end of June. So depending on where these fall. So I thought, as it's literally the end of June, let's do one here. So we then did one, like I said, in April. So that would have been episode 18. It was 31st of March, 90-day plan, 90-day review. So this whole episode is like a journaling practice, but we're going to do something slightly different. Because I did the masterclass at the end of, well, not the end of the month, I did it on the 2nd of June. So it was about a month-ish ago. And as I'm recording this, I haven't, like I said on last week's episode, I didn't have a date in mind, but I think as I'm recording this one, I probably did it yesterday. I think I'm having a play with Thursdays, Fridays. So that will also be in the show notes to purchase the recording. So you will always have the opportunity to attend live, and you'll be sent the recording, or you can purchase the recording afterwards so you can work on this. So in my mind, because of where this is falling with the 90-day review, the masterclass that has just gone will be about the 90-day review, creating goals, and how you can get really focused on working with your goals. Goals shouldn't just be at the end of the year, beginning of the year. You should be looking at your goals literally daily, weekly, but we can do this overview of breaking it down for 90 days. So a little bit more manageable. But a tool I really love working with, because the previous masterclass was on balance, I want to really highlight this, because sometimes we're like, yeah, I want to do this goal, but why do you want to do this goal? And if a goal is to be a little bit more focused on your well-being, so especially if you look at all the episodes I've gone through with you this past month throughout June, I would also go through and really highlight and hone in on all the topics that we've gone through in the last month to really help you with this, because the focus really has been on finding that balance. So a 90-day review, you could quite literally go back over the last 3 months and review everything you've done on your well-being, everything you've done that has really helped propel you forward in your career or in your business, in your lifestyle. But if you're wanting to create a happier and healthier life, if you're wanting to really focus on making yourself a priority, not burning out and loving life right now, then this is a tool that really can help you with it. It's one of my favorite tools. I've done this a few times. I've even done a masterclass as a guest on this. So it's identifying imbalance in your life. Where in your life do you have these areas of imbalance? I love it that on the last episode, like if you hear a noise, one of my dogs is sleeping. If you hear a noise in this episode, one of my dogs is playing. I think I'm going to pause this and see if I can get her to calm down. All about finding that balance, pausing when I'm working to go and have a little play with the dogs when they're in play mode, which is lovely. So 90-day review, 90-day plan, and really focusing on where you're identifying, finding those areas of imbalance. So this particular tool is called the fuel gauge. So if you think about quite literally that, the gauge on your car or whatever it is that you mode of transport it is that you use, this can really help you identify the areas that need balance, because sometimes we're so aware that we're not in balance, but we don't know where in our life, we're like, I feel off, I feel stuck, I feel frustrated, I feel burnt out, I feel overwhelmed. But what's actually causing that overwhelm? What's actually causing that imbalance? So this is where the fuel gauge tool can really help. So you can gauge on quite literally where you're feeling satisfied or where you're feeling burnt out. So we can look at 4 key areas of your life. Now the gauge has 5 areas. So you have your empty tank, first quarter tank, so low energetically, you're lacking motivation. The half full tank, so you feel like you're fine, but you might be feeling a bit stuck, or you feel in doubt, you're doubtful, you're frustrated, you're overwhelmed. The 3/4 full tank, so you feel good. This area really adds to your well-being. You feel content, you feel hopeful, you feel optimistic. And then the full tank, you feel energized. This area is overflowing. It feels exciting. You feel joyful. You feel enthusiastic. You feel passionate. And just to highlight what the empty tank means is you feel depleted or you feel powerless. So empty tank, first quarter full tank, half full tank, 3/4 full tank, and then the full tank. So you have those 5 areas, and I'll highlight them as we go through. Now, the 4 areas in your life are your health and your well-being, your work, career, or business, relationships and love, so connection, and fun and happiness. So I'll repeat those again: health and well-being, work, career, or business, relationships and love, and then fun and happiness. So if you haven't already, grab your journal, could be a notebook, could open a blank Word document, and let's begin. So health and well-being. Identify how full or how depleted your tank is in this area. And you might find that you want to pause the podcast just so you can really reflect. So just to go back, health and well-being, is your tank empty? So you feel depleted? Do you feel like you lack motivation in this area? So first quarter. Do you feel fine, but you're kind of in that middle ground? So half full, you're like, you feel okay, but you're kind of a bit stuck, or you're not quite sure how to progress or develop or grow in this area. You feel good in this area, so it's really already adding to that well-being. Your well-being habits are adding and improving and growing your well-being. So 3/4 tank. Or do you feel really full, energized, joyful, excited, full tank? Moving on to your work, career, or business. Same question. How full is your tank in this area? So when it comes to your work, your career, or business, do you feel depleted? Empty tank. Do you feel low? You lack motivation. You don't have enthusiasm for what you're doing. First quarter tank. You feel fine, but you feel a bit frustrated. Half full. You feel good. It lights you up. 3/4 tank. Or you feel energized. You actually feel really enthusiastic and excited and joyful and passionate about what you get to do. Full tank. So you can see where we're going. And I will continue guiding you with this one. So relationships and love, the connections in your life. How full is your tank? When you think about relationships, connections, love, do you feel depleted? The empty tank? Do you feel low energetically? You lack motivation? First quarter tank? You feel fine, but a bit frustrated or even overwhelmed? Half full? You feel good? This is an area that adds to your well-being. So you feel content? 3/4? Or you feel energized, this area is overflowing, you feel joyful, enthusiastic, passionate, the tank is full. And then finally, we have fun and happiness. So again, how full is the area of your life? How full is the tank in this area of your life? So you feel depleted, powerless, that's your empty tank. Feel low energetically or lack motivation, your first quarter tank. You feel fine, but you've got a bit of frustration, so half full. You feel good, you feel content, hopeful, 3/4 tank, or you feel energized, the area is overflowing, you feel joyful, passionate, enthusiastic, your tank is full. So we've got these 4 areas, and you've now reflected on which one feels like, how do these areas feel? Have you found that imbalance? Now, you might feel that it's all of these areas, or you might feel it's one area in particular. And I want you just to focus on how you could help improve this. This is going to be your journal prompt, is how could you improve this imbalance? Like, how can you shift from imbalance to rebalance? So how could you improve this area of your life? So maybe you've highlighted one area, or maybe you are aware that all of them have a slight imbalance, but how could you improve this area of your life? How could this area of your life be improved? So that might be, remember, you could go back to the episode a couple of weeks ago when we did that to-do list. You might go through that list. What are you not highlighting as important in that area? So the things you highlighted that you feel are important, that you probably feel like you should do, but you're not actually doing them, or the areas in your life that you feel you should be doing that thing, but you don't need to. So you could be deleting it, ditching it. You could be delaying it or delegating it. So you could look at that, reassessing your priorities. You might need help creating new habits, or maybe you want to go through this tool in more depth. So during the masterclass that I did on the 2nd of June, finding, which I called Rebalance, so it's creating a happy and healthy work-life balance. So it's finding that balance for you. We dive in a lot deeper with a lot more journaling with this particular tool, and you get a workbook with this one. So you might find that actually, oh wow, I can see those 4 areas of my life. This is where I'm out of balance, and I know all I need to do is focus on this. And then you feel good. But if you need that extra support, go into the show notes and purchase the recording of this masterclass, and you can dive into this even more with the recording and the workbook. Or if you would like even more support than that, then book me as your coach. This is something I really love going into, and helping you identify that imbalance and where you can have that support and accountability from me to help you create a better balance. Now, I don't really like you, I always kind of hesitate, a better balance. I probably like saying happier and healthier work-life balance, because it's not about the time. The time isn't split evenly in a work-life balance. It's literally honoring that. So you might be like, well, I spend more time here and here out of those 4 key areas. So it's not that you should be splitting your time daily or weekly or monthly in this area of this balance, but it's how you feel in that balance. How does it fill you up? What's the quality that you get from your life in that area of your life? That's what creates that balance in a happy and healthy way. And then just coming back full circle to the 90-day review, you could go, right, those are the 4 areas of my life. That's the area that has the imbalance. What could you do over the next 90 days to improve that? So just expanding on that journal prompt, how can you improve this area of your life? What could you do over the next 90 days that can help you? That might be creating a habit. It might be making a habit a priority. So making sure you have that morning routine, or that you're going to yoga, or that you're walking the dog, or you're going to the gym, whatever it is that helps you, for example. It might be purchasing the recording so you can dive into this deeper and really get to know what's going to help you. Or it could be the way you're going to improve that area is by hiring a coach. All the ways that you can do any of that are in the show notes. If you have got any questions, you can reach out to me. How you can do that is in the show notes. And I look forward to joining you next week.